Today I'd like to show you just some very basics of template editing. Sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm logged in as a user right now, and I'm going to click right and create a new template. Say new template, and give it a name, and we'll use simply as a product type. And I'll just take all the defaults on this stuff here. When we create a template, it will create a stub of a template for us. By default, it opens up in canvas mode, which I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to go ahead and open in text mode. And what happens is, on all of our instructions, this screen can have two different meanings. We can be in text, or we can be in canvas. I'll show you both. The screen down here in the lower right can be general. We can also be a bill of materials, bill of tooling, and a couple other things. And on the left is always a tree, and we can move those around if we need to when we're running. Alright, for typing in instructions, pretty simple. The basic is just typing in the instructions. Of course, if you can't spell, you got to run a spell check on it. Yes, there's a spell check right there, so we can fix that if we need to. So we can type in instructions there, and that's great. Usually what happens is you might have existing instructions. So if you have an existing instructions, let's say in a Word document, we can open up a Word document here. And, oops, we really don't want that one. Something that has a little more information for us. Grab an existing file. Okay, so we can take existing text, just do a cut and paste on it. Get rid of that one, and voila, we have our text. Alright. And it is a rich text format, so it'll take a lot of different information that you might have in existing Word documents, and you can just put it straight in to your text box here. If you're doing text, you probably want to be using pictures. We can tend to try to keep our text small, the number small, that's kind of a small font there. I can go ahead and I can change the color of that font if I want to. I can also go in and change the size of the font, bring it up a little bit, make it a little bit easier to read. When we want to add pictures, very simple. We go to the camera, insert picture. It'll take us to our last place that we were grabbing pictures from, which is someplace, could be on your local computer, could be on a SIM card that you just plugged in. You can, simplest thing is just to click on the picture you want, and it adds a little thumbnail down here. Couple different options. You can drag and drop it. Alright. So when I did that, it put the second one right there. Sometimes I go off screen here. Sorry about that. We can drag this one here. We can drag 2 or 3 at a time. Whoops. Well, I don't want to do 3. Let's do 3 at a time. I can copy and paste. Get all 3. So we can add pictures that way as much as we want. Probably overdid it a little bit on the picture there. If you don't like that one, hey, delete it. That's fine. Maybe I need to delete that one. Get rid of a couple of extras. Pictures are the most common thing, but you can add a lot of other things. The typical thing is to drag and drop. I'm going to bring down another screen here. I've got my computer screen open with thumbnails. I can just drag the stuff here, and it'll put it right there for me. Alright. If I go in and display other types of files, I'll just drag some here from where I know I have some. Okay, right there I've got some PDF files, and if I just go ahead and drag, that's a drawing file. We don't want that. We can do that too. Sometimes bustling everything into the small screen format with the recording is a little bit of a pain. Here's a PDF file. I just drag that, drop it, and it's there. Alright, so pretty much anything you want to drag and drop into this file, you can do it. Now this is giving me a view as in our edit mode. A lot of times I want to see, well, what does this really look like to the user? And we've got a handy tool here called Preview Edits. So if I go to Preview Edits, I see exactly what the user will be seeing. Alright? So you notice it's just a little different. The tree is still there and these instructions are still here, but I've got the pass, fail. That's not working on a real job, but the buttons still work. And I see the pictures here, and I can click through the pictures. I can click on any one of them and get a blow up. If I click on the one that's blown up, I get the huge picture, close it back down. If I click on the PDF, it's going to open up the PDF and show it here. I can bring that to full screen. So it's all right there. So I see exactly what the users are going to be seeing in the end. I say, okay, that looks great. Hit the exit door, and I'm back in where I was on my instructions. Which step was I on there? No. There we go. Got lost where I was. All right, so I'm on step 1. There's my text instructions. Now, sometimes this kind of screen is not the most effective thing. So let me go to the next step here, which is still blank. We haven't put anything in here. And I'm in canvas mode now. So I get a little bit of a grid view in the background. I can make it bigger if I want. All right. Now what this is a tool for drawing pictures and annotation. All right. Best way to use this is to open up a second window with a source of pictures on it. All right. And I think my best source of pictures, I'm going to grab some out of here. Okay, so I've got a nice source of pictures there. I'm going to kind of shrink that up a little bit, just so I can kind of show things on the screen. All right. So if I take those pictures here, I can drag and drop them right under my canvas. Again, as many as I want. Okay, I can kind of minimize that. Now, once I'm on the canvas, I can go ahead and I might decide to resize them or something, whatever, move them around. You'll notice the grid is in the background, it stops right here. And this is giving you some guidance because in ProWorks we've set up the default screen size to fit relatively low resolution monitors, and I'm running kind of a mid-resolution one right here. And we don't want you to do some big fancy drawing on your computer in the engineering office and then get out into the floor on a 1024 by 768 and have everything be scrolling and clipped and stuff. So it's just kind of a guideline. You can violate the guideline if you want, but it's kind of there to help remember what you need to do. All right, let's say we want to put text here. Annotation. This does work a little different than a lot of other packages. You draw a box, which is great. You do need to double click on it to be able to do text, okay? So my new text point to the spot, or whatever we want to describe there. We can go ahead and close that out. So now I've got my text there. Perhaps that text wasn't the right size or the right color. We can go ahead and change the color. We can go ahead and change the font, size, maybe we need to make it really big. Mess around with it, that's great. All right. So the real thing that most people use this for is to go ahead and do lines. So I use the line function here, and I've got an arrow, and hey, I'm pointing to exactly what I want to point out. If you want to get fancy, you can do curves, stuff like that. But I don't know. It's most of the time I think that the line of the arrow is what most people use. Of course, you can draw basic rectangles and circles and this type of stuff, and you can do fills and drawing and stuff if you really need to do that. But basically, that's what you're doing with the canvas, is using pictures and annotating it. You still have the ability to put more pictures down low. So I said, okay, here, and now I'm dropping some more pictures down at the bottom. All right. This is one thing I try to warn people about, though, is I'm dropping pictures down on the bottom. And if I use that camera, it's going to want to put them in here. The only way that you can put pictures on the canvas is to drag and drop or cut and paste onto the canvas. If you're using this, most of the time it's going to want to default to put them here unless it knows that you're up here for sure, and sometimes that causes people some confusion. If you do put something in the wrong space, it's not a big deal. You just say delete, and you can delete it and go on from there. that basically is kind of showing you the basic tools of adding the instructions. It's actually pretty easy. If we're going back here to step 1, I am working in English. We do have these different tabs for the different languages, but you do have to do the translation offline on that. If you have to set up your system for one language, then you won't see these, and you just get all in English. It's pretty straightforward. Over on the tree, I would take time to relabel some of these. The step 1, step 2, step 3 is pretty straightforward. Everybody understands that. But usually on the task, at least, I like to rename, and I might say this is primary assembly. And maybe this is final assembly. All right. It just makes it a little easier for people to understand what step you're at. Now we start you off with 2 tasks and 6 steps. You can, of course, delete steps, and you can add steps. All right. Sometimes what happens is you want to nest this down, though, because step 3, all right, you may want to insert a child step, and you may want to go ahead and insert another child step. So this one now just makes any more sense. Sub-step A. So you can go ahead and do this, and you can run really an infinite number of nestings if you want. Practically, I find about 5 layers is the most that I would recommend, just because the tree wants to become too wide here. All right. Again, you can rename any of these steps that you want. There is some hidden information in these, and I'll cover these in detail in the next one, but I just want to show you that if you go to one of these tasks, you can put in, let's say, estimated time, you can put in options, troubleshooting information, you can see the troubleshooting information. If you know that you're going to have some particular problems, you can mark steps as like novice only, so only new people have to run those steps. You can assign steps to different people. You can assign steps as key steps. There's all sorts of things that you can do on each step by accessing this tree and clicking right. All right. I think that just about covers the basic editing, and we'll cover more topics in the next editing session. Thank you.